Hi, I'm David Overton, and welcome once again to the Adventure Habits podcast. Here we talk to adventurers and we try and find out their 5 top habits for adventure that we can bring into our daily lives. Now, today is a bit different because it's our USA special. Yes, I'm coming at you from New York City, and it's just a few days after we've closed after our launch of various products at the Boston Outdoor Expo, 1st and 2nd of March 2025. And I've met a fabulous range of people there. So today is all about what we can get the 5 top adventure tips from the very best people from the Boston Outdoor Expo. And it's an absolute pleasure to invite Andrea Bailey to come join us. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time today.
It's so good to have you here, Andrea. And welcome to the Adventure Habits podcast from SplashMaps. And so it was really super to meet you at the stand as well. As you could see, it was busy, wasn't it? That show.
Yeah, it was a great show. It was a lot of meaningful conversations and connection, and busy weekend.
Yeah, and it was just a blast. I can't believe the people that we met at the show. I mean, as well as yourself, Andrea, we've met Liz Dernstein. I'm not going to spoil the surprise there. She can introduce herself later. And we met Kelly Catale, and likewise. They're going to be later on in this show, so hold on for that. But in the meantime, Andrea, I'd love for you to tell our listeners a little bit about, your background in adventure, what it is that you've done and achieved, and then where you are now, what you're actually doing.
Yeah, I am the owner and founder of Evolving Mind and Body, and I am a licensed mental health counselor, a mindfulness-based ego therapist, and Reiki master, and a functional fitness instructor. So I blended all of that together on my education and went on a little of an endurance quest. So
A little endurance quest. Come on, but don't be modest. I didn't think Americans did modesty very well, but come on, tell us about it.
Yeah. So in 2017, after battling some depression of my own and with infertility and the loss of my mother, and this has been a few years in the making, and I had kind of spiraled into some maladaptive coping skills, and
Mm.
and in 2017, I decided I would join the Spartanagogie, which is a 60-hour plus 70 plus miles of trekking, no sleep. And I was like, sure, let's do this thing. It was with a
Why not?
lot of reservation that I did that though.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so it was really a point in my life where I was not sure about my own body anymore, and my mindset was really struggling, and I really needed to retune the two together. And within that experience, I was able to connect with lots of other people and who were also struggling with some form of something that
Yeah,
life experiences. And it got me thinking about my education, and then the environment of being out in nature and the healing qualities of nature, because I grew up on a farm. I know this stuff. Um, and and I but I had just become disconnected from it, and
yeah,
the importance of reconnecting to nature and reconnecting to the outside world, and bringing that into my daily life. And so that's what I do now. I have
yeah.
taken that experience and done other endurance events and obstacle course races, and now I take people out on my signature system that's trademark pending, which is therapeutic rucking, and we go
Oh,
out
good.
in nature. We carry heavy backpacks, and we talk about shifting mindset and the process and what you're doing,
Yeah.
and creating grounding moments and creating space for being present.
I read a little about what you did, and I thought, well, she's probably a female Marine or something like that. But from what you're saying now, this is actually I've no idea. Did you when you hit this kind of low point in your life? Were you already an athlete of any sort before you decided to take that plunge with what sounds like an off the scale challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I quantify myself as like I am an avid person of exercise, right? Like I like to eat, so I like to exercise. So I'm like
Balance.
I want to counterbalance those things, right? And so
Yeah.
and I just know how important movement is for me and my own mental health, and has been for such a long time. And after my mom's passing in 2006, and actually the anniversary of her passing was on Sunday at the expo, and so I was like
Oh,
carrying all of that weight with me too.
yeah,
And so it was
yeah.
just a lovely way to be uh, uh,
A good
engaged
place to
with
be for that.
people in such a positive way. And so I had I was an I was an average person. Like I
Okay,
was,
that's
you
fair
know,
enough.
I was just a person that liked movement and had some education and I wasn't like coming straight off the couch.
I,
But I
I
really,
like the way you said that because it is almost as if that's within all of us. We
yeah,
actually
absolutely.
all want to be a lot more active than we currently are, and you've found that, Joe. I mean, first of all, your mother would have been enormously proud
Mm,
to have you on that stage, on your stand, just you know nailing your brand to the mast, hoisting it high at the show, and making people feel the potential that they had as well. Now, I felt that there was quite a lot of that inspiration
yeah,
there at the show. So your business now is called what? Because it's a whole package of stuff, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. So it's
Is it
involving
targeted
mind
at
and
anyone
body.
in particular?
It is, you know what, in the marketing realm of life right now, the people are all about like the niche, get your ideal target person, right? And I'm like, everybody
Yeah,
has life,
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
has experience.
The broad niche.
Yeah, I'm like, but like the niche is like somebody that's ready for the change, right?
Yeah,
They've tried things, they're feeling stuck. They're like, you know what? I like movement, I like outside, I want to be challenged. I don't know what I don't know, and I'm ready for somebody to guide me. Like if
yeah,
you're ready for the guide, I'm your person, because I'm like, let's go out and let's do things.
yeah,
And I even created an app for, because like I'm one person. Like,
yeah.
and I wanted to reach more, so I created an app, which is the Evolving Mind and Body app on Apple and Google, and available for download. And it's that resources, it's like how can you take this information and go and do things on your own, and you can have personal contact with me through the app, so
Oh,
that
fabulous. Yeah.
you can actually get some guidance of like, hey, how's this working? Should I shift this? Is this for me? Like, and
Okay. Well,
it's really cool.
at the end of the show, I'll get you to give us the links to that,
Yeah.
and so we can direct people towards it specifically. And I think it's terrific to have such a broad one. I was very impressed by the Boston Bulldogs and
Mm-hmm.
their approach to helping people with substance
Yeah.
abuse and through the medium of running, little by little, a few yards to start off with, then building up to a mile, then building up to something beyond. And having that target seems to be, well, the universal thing that actually takes our minds off what's right in your face every
Absolutely.
day, whether that's, mental illness or whether it's money worries or
Mm-hmm.
whether it is a health related stress that you have.
Yeah.
I think that's universal for all of us. So um, the way that this runs, Andrea, is I'm after five habits that we can pass on
Yeah.
for people to use in their daily lives. And I know that you're going to be good for three. But before we break into that, I just want to introduce the listeners to Kelly Catale. and listen to what she has to say about mountain biking, but also Liz Derstine and the extraordinary things that she's done for not just hiking, but running in the Appalachian Trail. So I'm just going to cut to that briefly now. Okay, I'm here at the Boston Outdoor Expo with Liz Derstine. Say hi, Liz.
Hi, so great to meet you and be here.
Okay, and Liz, you're on the Adventure Habits podcast now. You've just come off the inspiration stage here at the Boston Outdoor Expo, and just tell my listeners what you've achieved.
So I am a trail runner and a thru hiker, and I hold the women's fastest known time northbound on the Appalachian Trail.
That's absolutely awesome. And can I ask, how quick was that?
I hiked it in 51 days, 16 hours, and 30 minutes. That's about 42 miles a day for 51 plus days.
And you were saying it's 2,000, how many miles was that?
2,193 miles from Georgia to Maine.
That's the most phenomenal thing I've ever heard. And on this podcast, we talk to a lot of adventurers. So that's
sure.
quite amazing.
Thank you.
And so, Liz, you're obviously an off-the-scale adventurer, but this podcast is about what habits might we adopt in our daily lives to be a bit more adventurous, benefit from, I don't know, the thing that makes you reach further. What kind of habit can you recommend to our listeners?
So right now I live in Boston. I'm a full-time grad student for music. I play piano. So, I mean, running is something that keeps me grounded. So I guess my habit is just getting out in the morning and getting my run in. And this is kind of a silly habit. I do it on my hikes, but when I start to feel overwhelmed, I need to just like let out a sound. So this is silly, but I'll just go, and like whether it's in a run or just like, you know, I don't do it on the street when people can hear me, but it's just like, it honestly, just like letting out a physical sound, like it actually helps.
Do you know what? It's weird, but I do the same.
Yeah.
I kind of,
okay, good.
And you just have to hope that there's nobody around when it happens.
Yes, definitely.
But Liz, I'm so pleased that I've met you here.
Oh, me too. I'm so pleased to meet you too.
Just because we're doing this voice, I should explain, we're in front of our new Appalachian map that's made by National Geographic. And it's
beautiful.
Just a beautiful coincidence that Liz has taken time to be with us on the stand.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Liz.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye. Get going, right?
All right, let's do this.
Well, I'm here, David Overton at the Boston Outdoor Expo with Kelly Catale. Kelly, tell me about the fantastic thing your husband just told me about, that you're 2 times the, what is it?
National champion for mountain biking for single speed. Yeah.
Single speed. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like at the extreme of mountain biking.
Yeah.
I put gears on my bike to make life easier for me, and I can just about get up hills, but you do all of yours on a single speed.
That's right, 1 gear is all you need. Frankly, I love that I don't have to worry about moving parts and extra noises and all kinds of stuff.
Your maintenance costs must be, well, relatively low, but I bet you work your bike hard, right? Get through a few chains.
My maintenance costs are really low since my husband's also my mechanic, so
I
don't have
wow.
to bring it to a shop.
Brilliant.
It's pretty great.
And Kelly, so who are you here representing at the show?
New England Youth Cycling. So I am the executive director of New England Youth Cycling, and we're a New England-based organization that supports kids from kindergarten up through 12th grade. We do mountain bike racing and also just teaching mountain bike skills.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I could do with that myself, but I'm a bit older than youth.
You could be a coach.
I could be a coach.
Yeah, we welcome all adults as well to be coaches.
I'll be on the next flight over.
Perfect.
Perfect. And this is the Adventure Habits podcast, and we like to ask adventurers, in this case, one habit that you can pass on to our listeners at home, that they can take home into their daily lives and become more adventuresome.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been on all kinds of adventures, and the thing that I always come back to is that when you're on an individual journey, mental health becomes a really big part of the experience, and trying to stay positive and whatnot. Yeah. So my big thing is setting a very intentional phrase or word, or I like to call it a mantra, before an adventure. So I think about, what am I going to be facing in this next day, hours, whatever it's going to be.
What do you need to face
Exactly.
it?
What do I think I'm going to need? What am I going to face out there? And then how can I prepare myself mentally? And usually it comes in the form of a short phrase. So my go-to, my favorite, I used it at the World Championships in Italy in 2021, and I've used it ever since, is make yourself proud. And it helps me stay grounded in what is important in the moment is not what other people think of me or how I compare to my competitors. It is about being able to look back on the experience 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from that moment and say, I did what I thought would make me proud.
And that's a very internal thing. That's about you.
Yes.
Make yourself proud.
Exactly.
Make me proud.
Yeah,
don't make Dad proud or anyone
right.
else. It's kind
of
like
course,
that.
I think if I'm happy and I'm achieving and I feel good about myself, everyone around me is going to see that and they'll be happy for me too. So
fantastic.
It's not about the other people.
And
sure.
Kelly, I want to thank you for coming past our stand this morning.
Thank you for giving me the honor.
And well, I'm looking forward to learning more about you. And and hopefully one day we'll have a map with NEYC. So it's the New England Youth Cycling. And good luck. You're doing great things with the youth.
Thank you very much. It's nice to chat with you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so wasn't that amazing?
So good. They are amazing women.
They just blew me away, and we were really lucky to have a little stand that was so close to the inspiration stage that people would just come off the inspiration stage, come past us, and I'd say, well, would you like to be interviewed? And they invariably said yes. So so that was all great, and of course, because we liked you so much, we thought that you could be the glue that sticks the whole thing together, perhaps. And you could hear that both of those special ladies had theirs was quite a mental, a couple of mental habits that we can take on board. And I'm going to start sounding like a lunatic each time I go running now, and shouting this stuff out as I go. But now I'm intrigued to know, Andrea, from your position of expertise, knowledge, and your business, and perhaps the app as well, what would be the 3 habits that you would pass on to our listeners?
Yeah, one is grounding, getting your skin to the earth in some fashion. So if that's taking your shoes off and walking for a bit, or sticking them in the water, or even just putting your hands in the water, or finding a tree to hug and get the electromagnetic forces happening from the earth. And because that rewires your nervous system. It literally changes the way that your whole system functions, and it's a reset. And so that is an easy one that's free. You can do it right outside, but you have to connect your skin, or like through a natural material like cotton, to the earth in some form or fashion. Rubber, shoe soles block all of that.
Yeah. I personally love. What do they call it? That it's not called tree hugging nowadays, is it? But I do like to go up to a tree and give it a great big hug.
Yeah.
It does look odd.
Right. It's that gratitude from the tree too. Like, thank you for being here and providing fresh air. Right. It's like
right.
Such an amazing experience.
So that's the first one.
That's my first.
Be grounded.
Grounded. And then the second one ties into that too, is like closing your eyes, finding a spot where you're feeling comfortable and safe, and close your eyes and take in the surroundings, take in the sounds, take in the smells, the temperature, feel the sun coming through the trees, feel the wind, hear the birds or the woodpecker or the stream or the traffic, even if you're close enough, right? And maybe even stick out your tongue and see if there's any taste in the air. How does the ground feel underneath you? Like, take in all of that sensory experience. And
there's been a lot of diesel here today and stuff like that.
And then whenever you're like feeling like, all right, I've taken a few deep breaths and I'm feeling really centered, open your eyes and see what catches your attention. And then take a few moments to describe that to yourself. Like you were describing it to an artist. And taking that full sensory experience of being in the space that you're in.
Do you know what? I was thinking that yesterday. We were traveling on the Greyhound on the way down. And because it's really my second visit to America and the first time actually traveling through America, I was thinking, how do you describe this? Really good author would have all the right adjectives for that,
Yeah,
and it's a great mental exercise to start digging through that. So, in
absolutely.
general, what would you call that? So, the first one was grounding,
I call
and the
it
second,
like a sensory kind of integration.
sensory integration. I like it. So, grounding, sensory integration. You've got one more, Andrew,
You
and
have one
that's
more.
it.
So one more is figure out what you want to do. Invite other people if you want to, and if they say no, do it anyways.
Great, great. That's it. So don't let them restrict.
Yeah,
It is about you ultimately, isn't it? It's kind of,
absolutely.
and it's the old the thing they tell you on the aircraft, isn't it? You help yourself first, and then you help the person next to you, kind of thing, and then you'll be in a much better position to do it.
Absolutely, because you got to
Um,
make yourself a priority. You got to make yourself a high priority so that you can take care of yourself. You can love yourself. You can set, like, this is what I want to do. This is my intention. This is what I want to get from it. And then invite others to come. And if they're like, that's not my thing, or I can't do today, do it, like, okay, I'm going to go either way. So your decision isn't impacting me. I just wanted to share it.
that's fantastic. So we've got our three habits. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're
So in addition
welcome.
to the previous two that we had, which was one of them was about mantras. So it's living by the mantras. The other one was to actually make a visceral sound
Mhm.
when you're actually out there and you're feeling on the edge of giving up. Then that's the time to give it a good old yell. Now we've got grounding, and we've got the sensory integration, and then we've got really, just go out and do it, and try and invite other people along, but don't let them hold you back. It's about helping yourself first and then moving forward. Andrea, there's so much more of this stuff that just flows out of you, and I want everyone to meet you. So I think probably the best way for them to do that is to get your app or get engaged with you somehow.
Yeah.
So look out for a cohort of people from Britain all of a sudden. How do they get to see your stuff?
Yeah, the easiest way is to go on my website, which is evolvingmindandbody.com. Everything that I am there and attached to my app downloads are there, my books that I've been involved in, other podcasts that I'm on, services that I provide. I do travel, so if we want to set up something in the UK, you let me
Oh,
know.
brilliant. Give us the dates. Give us the dates. We'll be there.
Let's make it
Well,
happen.
brilliant, brilliant. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for spending some dedicated time with us here. I mean, we couldn't have done this on the stand, really. So you got a lovely slot here, and it glues the whole thing together. And I think that the amount of mental health meets exercise at the Boston Outdoor Expo is a credit to you, all the people that they got up onto the stand, and it's a credit to the people at Raccoon Media who put the whole excellent Boston Outdoor Expo together. We're really excited to be at it, and well, roll on next year.
Yay, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrea. Bye bye.